Hola clase, welcome to week 1 of the closet classroom. We got semana uno. That's the first word you're gonna learn. Semana, repeat, repite, semana. That means week. Today, it's week 1, semana uno.
Hola, soy Jocelyn. Esta es una introducción genial.
Sí, muy genial.
Oh, yeah.
Jocelyn es la mejor maestra.
¿Verdad?
I wanted to give a brief rundown of what each week is going to look like. So this is your lesson video of the week. Your lesson video is going to include your lesson. It's going to give a rundown of your vocabulary list for the week. I'll give you your homework and briefly explain what your work of the week is going to be. Hopefully this is going to work out. It might change depending on if I get complaints about the course load of my single student, Leah. It's literally just you, Leah. But if I get actual people like email me stuff, if it gets too much, then maybe I'll not put my email in the description or the homework. Just do it yourself. But this is what it's going to be right now. I wanted to give a brief rundown. So each week is going to have one vocabulary list. You're going to memorize these words in whatever way works the best. Some people do like a trifold system, which I will teach later. Some people do flashcards or Quizlet or Kahoot. And honestly, we'll figure it out as we go. And I think everyone kind of knows the way that they memorize best. We could use the sticky note system. Oh, whoa, shish kebab. And the sticky note system is where you basically write your word down and you stick it to the thing. Oops. So like I have my coffee mug and I pretend I was like, I want to learn what this word is in Spanish. So every time I look at the coffee mug, I write taza on it. And so I can read it. It's la taza. I think it's taza. I don't know what it is. It's something. This is why I shouldn't be teaching Spanish, but here we are. Anyway, so we got a vocabulary list. And every week we're going to have a lesson video, which this is your lesson video. This one might be a little bit different because I'm explaining what the future lesson videos are going to look like. We have something we're going to memorize, and that something is going to be different every week. It might be a Bible verse or a song. This week is going to be the alphabet song. I'm going to link it in the description because I am not singing the alphabet for you. No, thank you. I'm just going to link the video that actually I learned the alphabet through. It's great. And then we have a homework sheet. We may or may not have a homework sheet every week, but I have something for this week, and then a little quiz through Google Sheets, which is pretty great actually. I figured that out. So I'll just link that in the description. All your homework and PDFs and everything will be in the description or the comment section of the video, so you don't have to search too far. Let me give a brief explanation of each one. Our vocab list for this week is going to be about la familia. It's going to be about family. It's pretty standard, pretty typical. Our lesson for this week is going to be about masculine and feminine words. Our memorization for this week is going to be the alphabet song. Our homework for this week, you are going to make a collage of photos like you can make in Canva. And you just put a whole bunch of photos of your family, and you're going to type in or write the name of this person and their relation to you. So say you have a picture of you, your mom, your dad, and your brother. You're going to write Leah. You're gonna write yo, and then you're gonna write above when you see your mom. You're gonna say mama. What language is this? It's gonna write mama. And with your brother, you're gonna write hermano. Like you're gonna write this, and you're gonna do this with your cousins. You're gonna do this with your grandparents, and you're just gonna have a sheet. And all your homework, all this stuff. Oh, see, I even started up. All your memorization. I'm gonna make you take a video of yourself or an audio file, and you're gonna email that to me of your memorization. I know, pretty legit. And then you're going to also email me your homework. Again, I said if this gets too crazy, then I will just remove my email from YouTube. But I think it's just gonna be you, Leah. And then your quiz, Google Sheets. That's essentially it for a rundown. And this may change over the weeks, but hopefully this is your basic setup that you can expect to see every week. with that being said, let's learn about masculine and feminine words for our lesson. So we got this famous word in English, the. You know, it's a pretty nice word, like simple. It's called an article. An article is a, an, or the. There are more, but those are the simple ones, like a dog, an apple, or the dog, like the dog or a dog. The is a specific word, like you're talking about a specific object. The computer. Oh, I left it by the computer. It implies that you already know what this thing is. A computer is just something random, right? You know. So anyway, those are articles. And the is an article. In English, we just say the. But in Spanish, it's gonna get hard. Okay, it's not that hard. It's just kind of weird, right? In Spanish, we have el, we have la, we have los, and we have las. El, la, los, las. Let's cut it down the middle. The ones on the left side are masculine, and the ones on the right side are feminine. And you're just like, why do you have to complicate it? It's literally just the. I know, I was thinking the same thing. But el is only going to be used for masculine words. Let's give an example. El perro. El perro, the dog. We've got el. You can't say la perro. That's kind of weird. If you're going to say la, you're going to say la perra. But you got to be careful with that because that can be taken the wrong way pretty quickly. And the ones on the bottom are plural. So los and las. Don't worry if you don't understand this right away. We're going to be using it more. You're going to understand it eventually. We're going to get up there. So we got masculine, feminine, singular, and plural. English, we just say the dogs, the dog. We don't have masculine or feminine. It's pretty simple. But for Spanish, this is how we're doing it, right? And so I'll give some examples of some words and how to distinguish, how to know if they're masculine or feminine. Because these articles, obviously, you're going to have to know. Like, how do I know which one to use? You're going to memorize it with the word. But there are also some tips to know if you've only seen this word once. And you'll catch on pretty fast. You'll get it. It seems a little hard at first. It's actually really simple. Because in Spanish, this is something that I'll be emphasizing multiple times. But in Spanish, it's so easy. It follows the rules. And if it doesn't, there's a rule for that. Like, it's not like English where you can just say, I don't know, you say I before E except after C and sounding like A, neighbor, away, or Budweiser, or weird, or like, it's not like anything crazy like that. It's so simple. It's basic. They follow the rules, which is something that I can really appreciate. So I'm going to list out a whole bunch of words here, and we're going to work together to understand if it's masculine or if the word is feminine. But first, let me introduce you to my friends, LONR ADCiónSión. You can thank Mr. Cancino, freshman year, for this little trick right here. So we got LONR ADCiónSión. And I know what you're thinking, like, oh, what the heck did you just say? I agree. I don't know what I just said either, but it's a good trick. So in order to understand if a word is masculine or feminine, you're going to want to look at its ending. So the end of the word is almost always going to be the indicator of its gender, because each word has a gender. If the word ends in L, O, N, or R, LONR, if it ends in any of these letters, then the word is going to be a masculine word, and you're going to use el or los or un. I didn't talk about una or una, but we're not going to worry about that right now. So it's going to be a masculine word. Masculine words have masculine articles and masculine adjectives. And if you don't know what an adjective is, it's like soft or happy or green, you know, like words that describe. So we got LONR, which is masculine, and ADCiónSión. And I know what you're thinking. This one, you're like, okay, that's worse than LONR. But if the word ends in A, D, CION, or SION, any of those four endings, then the word is going to be feminine. Let me give you some examples. For masculine, we got the word árbol. Árbol. It's going to be el árbol because it's a masculine word. because it ends in L, which is the first one of LONR, we're going to see a word that ends in O. The first thing I thought of was bacon. So we're going to do el tocino. It's a masculine word because it ends in O. And this is a pretty standard rule right here. If it ends in O, assume it's masculine. And this is the same thing for the words of the family that we're going to learn later. An example would be hija and hijo. That is son and daughter. So I mixed them up. But hijo is son. It ends in O. But hija is daughter because it ends in A, which is a feminine word. So it can be the same concept, but masculine or feminine depending on the ending. It does this with cousin. It does this with, like I said, son or husband or wife. It does this with all of these things, and you'll catch on pretty quick. But if it ends in any of these endings, you're going to just assume that it's masculine. If it ends in A, D, sion, or sion, it's going to be feminine. Let me write some down for you. Okay, we've got our feminine words on this side. We got la hermana, the sister. La verdad, the truth. La generación, the generation. And this one's a little tricky. If it's sion, you have to look at the ending, because if it ends in N, it's masculine, unless it ends in sion. And you'll notice it by its accent. So always remember to write accent marks. We'll learn about accents next week. But always write an accent mark if there's an accent mark in a word that you see. And so we got hermana, which ends in A. What do you think would happen if we changed this to O? Hermano. Hermano. El hermano. It would be masculine. It would mean brother. But this one over here with the A is sister. We have la verdad, the truth. It ends in D. Second letter, ADCiónSión. It's feminine. And then we got sion, which we talked about a little bit briefly. And this is essentially something that you're going to be using all the time until you just get it. You're going to memorize words with the article in front of them. You're not going to just say tocino. You're going to say el tocino. So when you see bacon in your house, you're not going to say tocino. You're going to say el tocino. Okay? That's something you got to make sure you do, because it's gonna take a little bit to click, but eventually it will click and you'll do a pretty good job. There are some exceptions, and I'll give you 3 examples, but this is the general rule. Your examples for exceptions, let's go over here. These words over here are some exceptions to this rule. These are the most common exceptions. I can't think of any off the top of my head except these ones. And these exceptions, as you can see, is quite obviously la mano. Mano ends in O, and that means hands, the hand. So even though it ends in O, you're going to say la mano. You're going to say las manos, which is plural. Remember, las manos. And we're going to say el sol. Even though, wait, why did I put sol on there? It's already masculine. Oh, I don't know, that's strange. Oh, maybe because I was thinking about this one. I apologize for that. That one was wrong. No, so la sal, the salt. Even though it ends in L, which is a masculine, this is feminine. So there's some more examples like that, but you're going to figure it out pretty quick. But this is your general rule. I want you to memorize LONR and ADCiónSión. Write it down in your notebook, which you were supposed to have out at the beginning of this lesson. I didn't say anything because I quite honestly forgot, but you're going to need your notebook for everything. Yeah, I guess we'll go through some vocabulary then. And we got this general rule, which I hope will help you, because it helped me in Mr. Cancino's class in freshman year in high school. So I hope this helps you too. I am so proud of this little family that I just made. Like, dang, that's artist goals right there. This is el papá, la mamá, la hija, el hijo, y el bebé. Notice how these have accent marks. Papá and mamá and bebé. Don't forget the accent mark. It's really important. Because if you forget the accent mark on el papá, it changes from el papá to la papa, which is a potato. So don't do that. Always have your accent marks. Yeah. You're gonna make a lot of jokes on the dinner table now, and everyone's gonna be like, oh, you're stupid. And they might not be wrong, but just, yeah. Anyway, so we've got these, and notice how each one corresponds, has their corresponding article. Also, bebé is one of those words where the gender changes depending on the gender of the child. So this one, it's a baby boy. So we're going to say el bebé. But you could say la bebé. It just depends, honestly, on the situation. But when in doubt, always use the masculine word. It's the default state. It's like when you have more than one thing, you're going to use the masculine plural. So like these two people, la hija and el hijo, you would call them hermanos. They're siblings. Even though hermanos means brothers, it could also include any feminine words in that bunch. So our default state is going to be masculine. So when in doubt, use the masculine word. We'll talk more about this later, but this is kind of just a brief introduction. We've got masculine, feminine, and you've got your plural masculine and your plural feminine. But when you're ever in doubt, or if there's masculine and feminine that are plural, so like if you have, like what I said, if you have like 3 siblings, one of them's a sister, 2 of them are brothers, you're gonna say los hermanos. It's gonna just encompass them. Yeah. Peace out. That's basically our basic message for today. We're gonna talk about a little bit more in the future about the word the. We're also gonna learn the word a. And then we have our family vocabulary. And I have a few PDFs in the description, information, and your homework for today. So, yep. Bye.
Yo, you made it to the end. Good job. Let's go. Now learn some stinking Spanish. Apply it. Do it.
For real.
Yes.
Yo.
Okay. Bye.
Do it.